Hi there viewers, this is Glebe Road Junction and this is the June 2015 update, and I'm not too sure where I finished off on the last update, so I do apologise if I go over a few things that I've already covered beforehand, but a lot of work has been done since that last update, especially over the last couple of weeks. I've had a bit of spare time on my hands, and I try to utilise that best I can and try and get in the loft to crack on with some of the work that needed to be done. A lot of projects on the go, a lot of projects have been finished, a lot of weathering has been done, a lot of construction work on the layout has been done also. I've got a deadline for the beginning of July to get as much work done as possible, because I have a photo shoot coming up soon, so I'm trying to get as much work done as I can. So in this video I'll go over some of the things that I have done, some of the things that are ongoing, and also a few new additions to the fleet as well. So first up is this Helgen Class 26 and rail freight livery. As you can see in the picture, it's been re-weathered. What I've done is I've gone back to a few of the older locos that I've had since the beginning, and had my early weathering attempts on them, and I was never really keen on the job that I did with quite a few of them, to be honest. So I went back and tackled quite a few of them over a period of a week, cleaned them right up and then redone the weathering, and this is one of the examples. This particular loco I never run that often, purely because I just hated the way it looked, and now it has to be right up there with one of my best looking locos. The underframe and everything below the bodywork is pretty much the same, but it's the bodywork itself. I think I just completely covered it in grime and it just didn't look right, so I cleaned it down and just made it look a bit more presentable, a little bit cleaner, but also at the same time made it look like it's obviously you know, a workhorse, which this 26 is normally worth. So this is say one example of the re-weathering jobs that I have done, and now I tend to run this loco quite a lot. I'm really impressed with how it looks now. I think all in all was about 6 or 7 that I redid, and a few other locos that I've weathered that were pristine as well. Next up was the Batman Class 25. Again, this is a loco that was completely coated in grime, and it just didn't look realistic enough, therefore it never got run. And this had the same treatment as the 26 behind. I used T-cut to rub off as much of the old grime as possible, and also an abrasive pencil to take away a lot of the muck, and also used it to rub off some of the signage and the running numbers, stuff like that, to make it look like it was worn. Again, the undercarriage, the bogies and all that has been left the same. It's just the bodywork that's just had a bit of the attention, and now it looks like something that you would probably see on a railway, and I think this one will pass as a more realistic looking Class 25 than what it did originally. And next up was my Batman Class 20 in rail freight red stripe. This again was really grimy, looked really rubbish, so it's had the same treatment as the 2 others behind, but in this case I've left this one a little bit more grubbier, and I think it's come out quite well. I'm happy with it, and again it now gets run a lot more. Next up was my Batman Class 57 in the Reaver livery. Again, this was just horrible. The weathering job was horrendous, and I think it was probably the worst attempt I'd ever made. But again, I've gone back to this and re-weathered it, and again I really like it now. It's probably not to everyone's taste, but it's definitely better than it was originally. So this loco actually gets run now, whereas it never did before. The re-weathering on these locos that I've been doing has actually taken a lot longer than the original attempt. That's because I spent a lot more time going over it, looking at pictures in detail, and just looking and trying to copy the real life loco the best I can, imitate it the best way I can. So I think spending a little bit more time and not just using airbrush but using hand brush as well, I think you get the best out of how a loco should look, and hopefully I've replicated that with these handful of locos. Along with that, my Hornby Class 31 and rail freight red stripe has also had the weathering works on it also, as well as my, just move this one along, my Helgen Class 128 in parcel livery. That's also had a heavy bit of grime put on there, but again I think this looks a little bit more realistic than previous attempts on other locos. So all the fleet is now starting to look really good. I think I only have a couple left that haven't had the weathering, and I think I have a couple left that need re-weathering. This Class 26 here was one of my early weathering attempts, but that actually don't look too bad, so I think I'm going to keep that as it is because I like the way that looks, and it's probably not worth spending a few days on something that looks okay. Okay, so on to the more serious stuff. The construction. A lot of construction work has been done on the layout over the last few weeks also. This side of the layout, the station side, it largely remains the same. Not much else has been done. There are a few little things that needs to be done, but nothing major, so they drop to the bottom of the list. If I move around, the turnage, I'm not sure whether I'd actually mentioned this in the last update, so if I did, I do apologise. But that's now been moved there, and a lot of work still needs to be done to that, but again, it's not urgent, so that's pretty much going to stay the same as it is for now until I get round to it. The back end of the layout, again, pretty much the same. I did have a ready mix concrete site over there, but I've moved that away, decided to do something else with that area. The TMD, again, nothing else has been really done with this area, although I have started to add little ground signals around the TMD area and other parts of the layout, and also on the signal gantry, as you can see I've now got signal lights on there as well, so that's something I've been wanting to get around to doing for quite a while, so they're now done. Below the signal gantry, down below here, I've added this the girder bridge, and also the railway arches and bridge here also, some pavements, walling, and obviously places of business within the arches. This area is pretty much done, if I'm being honest. As you can see, it's not too bad. I just wanted something down here so it just didn't look too bland. All the roadways and everything are done. I'm going to have a cameo scene here with the fire engines, with this end arch is going to be on fire, so I'm going to try and imitate that one way or another. I've got firemen as well, but I need to paint them up and add them in, so I've got this cameo. I've also got the blue flashing lights in the fire engine, so I need to wire them up so they all flash. But you get the idea of what I'm trying to achieve. But as you can see, with the girder bridge and everything, it looks pretty good with the billboards and that. All this area has also been weathered as well. I'm not sure about this green grass shrubs stuff. I think it might be a bit too bright, so I might have to tone that down with a bit of paint with the airbrush. But yeah, this area is starting to look pretty good. I'm quite pleased with it. So apart from obviously the cameo, this area is pretty much done. I've also got obviously the lighting. I've got two yard lights. I've also got a couple of street lamps as well on there. And yeah, I think this area adds a bit of dimension to this area. As you can see, it looks quite nice. But that's not the major change. The major change would have to be on the other side of that, the opposite side of the station, which is this back end here. A massive transformation, and obviously work in progress. I've been working very hard on this recently. This is going to be a scenic fiddle yard. It's not a large fiddle yard, but enough to keep hold of some of the stock that I have. I've decided to make it a scenic one as well, so I don't lose that much space, because I don't have a huge loft. Although the layout looks pretty big, it's coming, I wouldn't say coming to an end, but a lot of the scenic work is been done on the 2 scenic sections, and I was going to have this as a non-scenic section, but you know, I've probably only got a couple of years work left and all of this down this side, and I'd have nothing left to do, so I decided to make this a scenic side as well. And what I've done is I've added an extra board for the fiddle yard to go into, and I've also carved out of foam the rock face. Is going to be a rock face which I've only just painted up. That's finished painting, or finished being painted. Just needs a lot of greenery and stuff like that added, but I can't really do that until the back end of the layout's been done, otherwise I'll lean over it and ruin all the work that I've done. There's a lot of, you know, cleaning up I need to do, a lot of rubbing down, painting and stuff like that. There's also a section obviously between the fiddle yard and this section here, that's obviously going to be a roadway, because there's a bridge there, and obviously that will go to the other side and there'll just be a roadway that runs down. And then obviously all this white plastic card that you won't notice, it'll all be hidden away with walling and stuff like that, so it'll all be hidden away. But at the back, you can see down here there's obviously a gap there as well, so that is going to turn into a stream or a dike of some kind with a culvert at either end, and that'll just be like a small stream that will separate the fiddle yard to the main lines. I know you probably can't see what it is that I mean from how it looks now, but once it's done you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. But it's hard to try and describe exactly what it is I'm trying to achieve there. I sort of know what I want to do, it's just actually getting it done. But I think I'm at an acceptable level to actually make that look quite good, fingers crossed. This is where the signal box is now going to go. I've also added the signal box interior. I've just got to add lighting to it also, so that obviously lights up nicely over there, so that's another job that I need to do. Obviously moving around, I've also started all the scenery between the 2 main lines, or the 4 main lines should I say. This middle island here it is now complete, and this was just done using wet newspaper and then plaster cloth or plaster bandage on top. Obviously let that dry and then painted it all up in various different shades, and then added grass and as well as static grass and bushes. These are handmade bushes using the old Brillo pads, and then obviously they're sprayed up in different colours, and then obviously scatter material added to them. And I've obviously managed to blend them in with the landscape and the grass, so they don't look out of place. So I'm quite pleased with how they look, as you can see down here. The one lonely tree, I think that's more than enough. I think any more trees down there, I think it's just going to overcrowd it, to be honest with you. But I've also made this not so flat, because a lot of the layout's actually quite flat, so I've decided to make this, you know, dip up and down, so it's got a bit more of contour to it than the rest of the layout, and I think it's come out quite well. I'm really pleased with that. As well as this area around here, I've also done similar sort of thing, but in this case I've used dashed clay, and what I've done is I've formed lots of different rocks and boulders, and you probably can't see very well with all the greenery all over it, but as you can see, it looks like it's all wet, so it looks like there might have been, or it's been raining, or a stream has been running through it or something like that. But there's lots of rocks and boulders and stuff like that, and then it's obviously just painted over, and it's come out quite well. That's all still wet at the moment, so I'm still waiting for that to dry to see exactly what it turns out like. And then obviously I just need to finish it off between that and the ballast, so it looks nicer. Next up is this concrete bridge that I've built, and it's completed. It's all been painted up and everything. It just needs weathering now and and some graffiti added to it as well. And obviously the ballasting and stuff like that, and track work. I've started to add all the orange piping for the cables under the track, so I'm doing all of that at the moment. I've also got the cable trunking to do. I've also got all the parts for the point rodding from the signal box to go to all the signal boxes, to the points. So that needs to be fitted, fixed down first before I can actually do any of the ballasting work. I'm itching to get the ballasting done, so it, finishes it off, but all the finer detail needs to be added first. But yeah, back to the bridge. It's in a pretty much finished state. It's not fixed in place because I need to do the ballasting on the track underneath first, but it also does need to be weathered, and once I crack out the airbrush I'll get that done and obviously get some graffiti on. The roadway on top still needs to be done also. That's a job obviously for another day until I need to figure out exactly how I want that. But yeah, I mean, from a distance it doesn't actually look too bad. I'm quite pleased with how that's come out. I think that's pretty much it for that side. Still lots of work to be done. It doesn't look like much, but it has taken me a long time. I've put a lot of hours up here, and I feel that I've managed to get a lot done. What I've also done, a bit of a mess at the back here, put on my desk. I've now built the woodwork for the town scene, so that's now complete flat wood, as well as some shells, which probably not going to stay there, I don't know yet. Some more shells need to be added to it yet also, but the woodwork's down ready for the town scene, so that will be a job that I'll do after all this section is completed. I just want to get this section done, so they've got a lot more to shoot on the photo shoot. So yeah, the town scene woodwork construction work is now finished, ready for the town scene to be fitted in. Obviously I need to plan all that out properly and obviously crack on with that. As you can see at the back here, I've got these Hornby Railroad hoppers, HAA, I think they are HHA, one of the two. Richard at Everard Junction has done this project recently. He's taken them all apart, resprayed them, changed the couplings and also the buffers. I've done the same thing. They've all been done the same. I've resprayed them. They just need weathering up now. I've had cars coal in the top as well, and changed the couplings to the large old Hornby ones to the NEM couplings. All I need to do now is to weather them up, but I'm having a bit of issue with the wheels over points. It's cutting the power off. Obviously I don't think, well, it looks as though, I don't know if there's any plastic sleeves within the wheels, I'm not sure. I think there is, which makes me wonder why it's cutting the power out, because it's almost as if there's no plastic sleeves where the spindle goes into the wheels, so there's obviously it's shorting out the power on the points, but I'm not too sure why it's doing it. So if anyone knows the answer to this, or if anyone knows what I need to do, then please let me know, because at the moment I'm not running them purely because it keeps cutting the power. Every few feet it goes, it cuts the power, and I'm pretty sure it's obviously has something to do with the wheels, so I'm not entirely sure. Electrics is not my strong point. Everything else I'm alright with, but just not electrics. So there's 15 of them in total. So I mean, once they're weathered and I've sorted out the wheel issue, then obviously there'll be a nice rake of merry-go-rounds going around the layout, and that'll look quite nice. Okay, so that's pretty much it for the layout update. But before I go, just want to show you some of the new additions to the layout. And this is the first one. This is a Helgen Class 33 in rail freight sector livery. And I know this loco's quite hard to get hold of, and it is one that's been on the list for some time, and I managed to get my hand on one. I bought this from, in fact, all the new additions I've got have come from the Weathering Works, and they did the weathering there, and I also just purchased the loco from them. And I mean, apart from this loco being a fantastic loco anyway, I mean, I love 33s, they're my most favourite. I love this livery. but the weathering job they've done in it is just is amazing. Far better than what I could ever imagine myself doing. And I fell in love with it as soon as I saw the picture. Obviously, with these sort of locos, the older ones that you can't get hold of, and being weathered professionally, you pay over the odds. But I don't mind that because this loco is just fantastic, and it has to be one of my favourites now. Like I said, I love the 33s. I think I've got 5 or 6 of them now, and this is right up there with the best 33s that I have. And it's just fantastic, absolutely brilliant. It runs well, and it's just brilliant. I'm not sure whether to add snow plows on this. I need to look up on the internet at this particular loco in real life to see if it had one or not, and if it did, then I'll add one on, but for the time being it's fine as it is. Okay, so next up is this Helgen Class 14 teddy bear in BR Blue. And this is a loco, again, it's been on my wish list for a very long time, and I've now managed to get my hands on one. This is a Hatton's exclusive model, and this particular livery sold out fairly quickly at Hatton's, and therefore makes this particular model a hard one to get hold of. In fact, apart from it being on Hatton's site, I don't think I've seen it for sale anywhere, because I've looked, you know, quite a lot over the last year or so, and I found this one at the Weathering Works, the same place as I got the 33, and yeah, I pulled their arm off. Again, I've paid over the odds, but it's I think it's well worth the investment. The Weathering Work job on it is fantastic yet again, and I'm very pleased with it. It's not had a decoder fitted to it yet. I've still got to order one, but I've heard that they're quite tricky to get a decoder in, and it needs to be a certain decoder for it to work well. So I'm unsure what decoder to get for it. So if anyone knows what the best decoder is for this particular loco, then please let me know. I would rather find out what other people think or what other people know before I head and go and order something and waste my money. I know Hornby decoders are no-no in Helgen locos anyway. I know that from experience, because these locos do draw a lot of current, and I know the Hornby decoders are not that great. In fact, I don't use Hornby decoders at all in any of my locos. Same with Bachmann. I tend to use the Gauge Master decoders, which are, in my opinion, very good. But I think in this case this needs to be quite a small 8-pin decoder. I'm not sure which is the right one, because Hatton's, they say that the Hornby 8-pin one is the right one to go in here, but I disagree with that. So if anyone's got a class 14 and have obviously crossed this bridge and know what is right and what is wrong, then please let me know. That'll save me a lot of time and money messing around with decoders. So so yeah, this is the end of the update. I don't think there is anything else to report, anything else to show. I'm not doing a running video amongst this video, because I think this video's gone on for a long time already. I think I've rambled on enough. Hopefully by the next update this back section should almost be complete, fingers crossed, and that will probably be just before the photo shoot in July. I'm on holiday the last week of June and the beginning of July, but I think when I get back I'll do another update then. So that's it for me. Thank you very much for watching, and take care.